Who's ready to golf forever? In 5, 4, 3.
Chicks, you know what I'm talking about? That lettuce, that lettuce. Gotta get it. Gotta get it. That lettuce, that lettuce, focused all on the check. Yeah, all I want is lettuce. Yeah, just give me the lettuce.
Let us heads, we are back with another edition of Please Let Us Golf, the podcast. And today you got Goldy flying solo, but I'll be bringing on a special guest in just a minute, so bear with me. So if you've been following Please Let Us Golf, you know we recently announced a brand partnership with GolfForever. So what does that mean? GolfForever, the ultimate swing trainer and fitness program designed to help golfers of all skill levels and ages improve their flexibility, strength, balance, and overall body performance specific to golf, all with a simple goal in mind, right? Like we want to play better, play longer, and avoid injury. And don't get me started on injury avoidance. As I'm getting older, that is moving way up on my personal depth chart as a top priority. And I hope, you realize by now at Please Let Us Golf, we're not here to sell you a bunch of products, right? You haven't been pushed a single ad read or a product yet via our podcast or social media channels. And that's not for companies not trying. We've had a lot of brands, a lot of products say, hey, you want to do this, want to do that. But we take that decision seriously. We don't want to be known as the guys just selling you a bunch of stuff for the sake of it. This isn't some script that was provided. It isn't some gimmicky speed stick that you're going to throw out your back like I've done. It's not some get jack quick program. It's legit golf specific fitness. That's why you see Scotty Scheffler using it. You're seeing tour pros adopt it. And then golfers of all ages and skill levels, just as a part of their personal fitness regime, is putting the GolfForever swing trainer system in their arsenal. And I'm here to talk to you today about that in a little more detail. So I've been doing the program for about a little over a month now, just a couple of days a week for about 30 minutes a pop. And I can honestly say, first of all, it is not cupcake workouts. Like you're going to be feeling it, but it's going to be translatable to what you're trying to do as a golfer. And I can honestly say I haven't felt this good physically on or off the golf course in years. And my hope is this podcast helps educate you a little more, maybe answer some questions about golf fitness specific to GolfForever. But as always, if you get through this, you want to shoot us a DM to get some more info, please do that. Or if you just want to go to golfforever.com, use promo code plug PLUG at checkout, you get 15% off your total purchase from now on, just for being a lettuce head. So today, so you don't want to just hear me talk the whole time. So today, to help me deep dive GolfForever and answer the value proposition question that you should be asking, right? Like the cynic's perspective. I'm a cynic at heart. So we know there's no shortage in golf fitness, golf mobility programs. There's endless marketing scams in the world of golf and the golf space. So like what makes GolfForever special? What makes it different? And to help answer that question, we're bringing on someone today who's a 4-time All-American at Auburn University, played 6 seasons on the LPGA Tour, and is a self-proclaimed golf nerd. And, that's going to fit cleanly into our plug culture as golf nerds ourselves. And she currently happens to serve as the GolfForever Director of Business Development and Strategic Partnerships. Let us heads please welcome Nicole Hage to the podcast. Nicole, how are we doing today?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, we're excited. Well, first of all, I always do this. So we were doing a little talk before. We both have a little corporate background, corporate speak. What exactly does a director of business development and strategic partnership do? Some people hear these titles and they go, what does that mean? So yeah, educate us on that. And then we'll do some fun golf talk.
Well, I like to say I have the best job in this company. And I think with business development, you do get the opportunity to be out in the wild and shake hands and talk to people. And that's really important especially for a new company like ours, to get the name out there. Business development obviously is tapping into your network. You're supposed to be growing the network and sharing the brand. And with my background in golf, I started competing when I was 7. And I always joke that the golf world is very small and you collect a lot of people along the way. And you really are maybe 1 or 2 people separated from someone else in the golf world. So since I've been in golf basically my entire life, I've collected a lot of people. And it's been really beneficial to bring to Golf Forever and help get the brand out there.
I mean, so I do have a lot of Golf Forever specific questions, but I do want to pick your brain. So you're the real deal ex-professional golfer, but so how did so even personal observation. So ladies in the game of golf, little girls in the game of golf. So we're similar age. Golf started kind of being cool for guys in the early 2000s because of Tiger. So when I was playing high school, you went from being a leper to, oh, this is kind of cool adjacent. But even over the last 15 years, I've seen a ton of change on my local courses of a lot of young ladies out there playing the game. But you came in competitively at a time probably like before it was cool, before we had the fashionistas, before Instagram. So tell us a little bit about that journey into the competitive side of golf.
Yeah. So when I was 7, well, I started, my dad's the athlete in the family. And my dad started playing golf. His background, though, was baseball and football in college. And then he went to SIU, Southern Illinois. And then afterwards, he was drafted to play baseball for the Blue Jays, Pirates, and Yankees was
Mm.
his career. So my dad grew up as an athlete, and then once he stopped playing baseball, athletes love to find another sport to conquer. He started playing golf, and from what my parents told me when I was around 3, if he tried to sneak out of the house with his clubs without me, I would go insane, meltdown. So I started tagging along with my dad when I was 3. When I was 7, we moved to Dallas, Plano, briefly for my dad with work. That's where I really started playing more golf, taking lessons. Hank Haney had a golf ranch in Dallas, and they had a huge junior presence. And that's just where I started, like 3 holes, you win, you get to go play 6 holes, you win, you go to 9 holes kind of thing. And there were so many other junior girls. And I guess at that time, I just got hooked. And then my dad took me to my first professional tournament to go watch. It was called the J.C. Penney's Classic, and it used to be held at Innisbrook. This is like way back in the day. I was 7. Um, and it was a unique team event. It was a LPGA, PGA Tour, and a Champions Tour player all paired together, like a team competition. And we watched Kelly Robbins play. And I have the worst memory, but I remember so vividly, like being on the other side of the ropes, and like it was just so many people watching this tournament, and I like they just seemed like rock stars to me. Like it was just like the coolest thing for a 7-year-old. She was so nice to me. I loved her swing. And after the round, gave me her gloves, she signed her hat, her visor, golf ball. I was hooked. My dad said, I looked at him and said, I want to be a professional when I'm older. And it's pretty cool. So something like that was super impactful for me to go to an LPGA event. I would say, that's where the LPGA doesn't get enough credit. I'll get on my like soapbox here. And that's where I hear these stories all the time of like, yeah, like the LPGA is not like in your face like the PGA Tour, essentially, like in the media and all of that. But the impact that the tour makes in person at these tournaments, when they go to these small towns and host these tournaments, like you hear all these really cool stories of the women that are out there today that went to an LPGA event when they were younger, and like that interaction that they had just so briefly with a player, and here they are now paired with that player on tour. But just those interactions with the women, they just get it. They make you feel special. They're so appreciative of the fans being out there. They're so appreciative of the kids with the clinics, being able to host and be there. So yeah, the women do not get enough credit, and I would challenge your viewers to, if they get the opportunity to go to an LPGA event, to go. I don't think you would even compare it to any other experience, sporting event. I mean, you literally feel like you're walking the fairways with them. I mean, you are on the other side of the ropes, but it's such a more intimate, interactive kind of experience. And the women will talk to you after the round and sign autographs. It's a really cool experience, but I think it's very impactful for the younger generation. The girls just get so excited because they see themselves out there and they know that a player made that impact for them. So they get really excited, and I would definitely encourage you, if you have kids, to take them to an LPGA event.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been to one myself. Here, it was hosted at Great Waters a couple years ago, I think. At this point, some of the COVID weird scheduling stuff, but yeah, it's an amazing time. Like you said, you get immersed into it. The quality of golf is obvious. I think it's not to be disrespectful or disingenuous, but I think the common golfer just doesn't get how damn good
How
they
good
are
they are.
and how relatable it can be. Like, again,
Yeah.
it's a different style, it's generally from, PGA Tour play. But it's definitely just like, oh man, just hitting it on a string on repeat, as good as it gets. So, yeah. And then just the relatability of it. I have juniors in my household now, so getting them immersed into the game, and how do you get them hooked? That's probably a critical part of the journey, when you get that aha positive experience and like, oh, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, so and then so you go in, were you like dominating as a junior, or were you just like very good and when before getting D1 offers, or how did that work?
I was a top junior. My sophomore year, I was bounced back between number one and two. Very fortunate that my parents gave me all the opportunities to get myself in those positions, played in all the top AJGA events.
Mhm.
So I was fortunate enough to be able to choose where I wanted to go to school. And then, continued to play well in college, and be a four-time All-American at Auburn.
So when does like so I got into golf later in life. Like I played basketball, and golf was my secondary sport while everyone played baseball. I just played golf and da da da. And I didn't really get obsessed. It was kind of like post college. I was in grad school and moved to an area, military town, and golf was just huge. And all the things I used to not like about it, chipping, putting, everything that makes you good, I just fell in love. And then the whole 2-decade journey now of history, architecture, you name it, I'm all about it. But when becoming a tournament golfer, I became a really good amateur golfer, relatively speaking, but that doesn't necessarily translate to medal stroke play, tournament, crunch time. Long-winded way of asking, like, coming up competitively and being dominant, when do negative intrusive thoughts start to become a part of a golfer's journey? Like, are you naive to the point of like, is it college? Do you start feeling it when you're 14, or is it not until there's scar tissue? When did it happen?
I wish I could identify when that happened, but I always say that like golf is seriously like the most emotionally abusive relationship that you could
It's
ever put yourself in
unbelievable.
willingly. I guess I started that journey very young, so like my feelings got hurt at a very
Yeah,
young
early.
age.
Yeah.
I would say though, like I always say too, like that's why junior golfers are such great putters typically, and chippers. Like their
Mm,
short game and touches, and they're definitely more fearless because their feelings have not been hurt.
yeah.
They have no bad memories to like pull from. They only have
Mhm.
like good experience, and they're excited, and that's however I wish it could stay like that. I don't know when that was identified for me. I feel like starting at 7 playing in tournaments. I think part of like my bad memory is because I've just like PTSD like blocked out a lot of
Yeah.
that. So no, I don't know, but it's funny. I've now been away. I officially retired from tournament golf in August of 2013. My last event was at the British at St. Andrews.
Oh,
And being away from the game, tournament wise, it's such a different perspective. Like I lived and breathed and died with every shot. And if I shot a bad round, like I was a bad
like
person.
it
And
affected you on a personal
oh
level.
my
Like,
gosh,
yeah.
it hurt my soul. And I mean, now I look back and I'm like, I mean, really wasn't that. I didn't do that dramatic. But when it's all
Hmm.
how do you know else? Any other way, basically. So, whenever I do talk to parents, I really do encourage them to to have their kids have hobbies and other things outside of golf so that they could just be a little more well-rounded and understand that it's not so life and death. Like for me, this was all I had. I every day from age 7, like, you're going to be the best golfer in the world. We're going to train you. You're going to get every opportunity. Like that's all I thought of. And that was all I did every day, So of course it was life or death for
Yeah,
me.
it does.
um, that was my life and death. And if I played bad, like, oh my gosh, like the world was going to end. Where now it's like, no, it's not going to end. It'll be just fine. And it doesn't need to be so. I didn't need to be so emotionally attached to it at the time, and it would have been, I think, the outcome. Two things, that perspective and what we're going to get ready to talk about were the two things now reflecting back on my career that I would not be talking to you about this product. I'd be still out on tour competing if I had these two different things in my life back then, different perspective, and then obviously um, an understanding of how important the body is in golf. And it's
Yeah.
not just about banging golf balls all day. That's not going to get you better.
Unfortunately, it's not.
No.
Um, and I do want to get over to the GolfForever talk, but while I got you picking your brain, so you mentioned, I didn't know that. So you ended your career at St. Andrews at the old course. Do we have a top tier of favorite courses? I know it's a subjective question
It's
and
like
could
such a
be for,
golf basic
yeah, I
question.
know. So
I'm
I try to
joking.
do it through the lens of like, I try to break it down of, is there one that has like a special memory to you linked for whether it's a family reason, professional golf reason, and then one that you just think maybe it's a little unheralded, one that you just love, you're excited to go play every time you do, and it just doesn't get the praise you think it should.
Yeah. So I like to answer that question with more the designer of the course. So
Mm.
my favorite course, I will say, I love Grand National in Opelika,
Oh,
Alabama.
really?
I'm a huge Robert Trent Jones design fan. I love his golf courses. Um, kind of Bomber's Paradise, which for me was great and could get away with my nasty hook on a lot of his holes. But I could carry like a lot of the bunkers in the fairway and then leave myself a wedge. And I love quadrant greens. For whatever reason, it just made me super hyper focused of like, I have to get in this quadrant or like doom and
Yeah.
gloom is on the way. So I think that's why I really like Robert Trent Jones design courses because, they have that typical
Yeah.
field. But then on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, when I was on tour, I lived in Jupiter and I was a member at Dye Preserve and was fortunate enough to play a round of golf with Mr. Dye. And that was probably the coolest round of golf that I've ever had in my life to get to sit there. Just he and we walked the course. It was in the middle of the summer. This little old man comes shuffling over to me on the range. I think I wasn't qualified for an event that week and was just practicing, and it was basically abandoned. And hey, young lady, do you want to go play? And I was like, sure, okay. Let me go get a cart. And he goes, oh no, we walk. And I was like, okay. And one of the caddies came over and he said, that's Mr. Dye. And I was like Pete Dye? And they're like, yeah, like Pete
Wow.
Dye. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is gonna be really cool. And I mean, I probably talked his ear off because I had so many questions. Because
Yeah.
I mean, he is like a true let's really mess with your brain kind of guy.
Yep.
And it was just remarkable to like get into his brain and understand the why why he did this and why that elephant in the middle of the green is with that ridge there. But the coolest thing that I learned from him was every golf course. So his wife, Alice, was a better golfer than he was, he had always said. And there's a special message at every one of his courses for her. Typically, the bunkers will spell out something. And so 14 at Dye Preserve is a dog leg right. And the bunkers spell out I heart you. And I mean, I had played there for like 2 years and never even,
Mm.
you don't even realize it when
That's
you're out
that's
there.
special.
But it's pretty cool. Like every course typically has a heart shaped bunker or something like that. And that's just a little nod to Alice that he does when he's out there.
So what do you? So architecture talk. I know that's not what this pod is. It's kind of interesting though that you find that like a lot of the greatest architects really weren't very good golfers or are not,
Yeah.
they're not single digit handicaps even. There's obviously exceptions. But yeah, I kind of wonder how that is. It's kind of like not all great coaches might not have been the top tier
Hmm.
players in any sport, but it is maybe it's the better player you are, maybe it sometimes can be constraining of what a test of golf should be versus balancing the common man every day, every lady golfer. I don't know. There's more of an open ended
They
than a
think
direct question.
they think obviously with a different
Yeah.
side of the brain, and it's definitely a creativity thing that you need to have, but you have to have that eye. And I think you're spot on too with like, not all golf coaches are great golfers themselves, but they have the eye and they have the understanding of like what they're trying to accomplish with their students. Like
Mhm.
an architect has an understanding of what they're trying to accomplish with each hole and like the strategy, and like there's a reason for the tree being right there and not over here, and the
Right.
bunkers and all of that. And yeah, you have to have a certain creativity, I think, with your mind and vision, to be able to see that, where most people were like, I don't know where to put the bunker.
well,
Not
well,
where I'm
what's
going to hit
Well, what's weird
it.
too is like I've found, and again, I'm not necessarily professional ranks, but a lot of the quote better players I play with, I find them to almost be just as clueless as anyone else when it comes to arc. Like there's so many weekend warriors out there that are just like, let me bomb it, let me hit it again, and they're not even thinking through the lens of the
Yeah.
strategy and that. And there's probably a lot of golf courses that are kind of those 80s 90s residential golf design that aren't the most thrilling experiences. It's just keep don't go out of bounds is the challenge. I'm a my home course, you either you either go OB 4 times that round or you don't. It's basically the whole round.
I think
um
you'd be surprised, especially out on tour, that like most players are just kind of being dragged around the course. The caddies do not get enough credit. There's a lot of great caddies out there. There's a lot of not great caddies, but the caddies of these great players are the ones that are mapping out truly the game plan, and they're just like hit it here, and then if they have that great partner player, that player is hitting it where the
yeah.
caddy is kind of guiding them. And it really is important to have, but you'd be shocked that most players are just
So
kind of being told what to do and
headline
just
per Nicole, professional golfers are all
they have no
Manchurian
skill.
candidates that they are robots, right? But
Yeah,
yeah,
they
no,
are.
but no, I do. Yeah, we've talked to some caddy buddies, and yeah, it's especially with data golf now. It's like here's the plan, just you go,
Hmm.
you just go plug and play. If then statement.
Yes.
Um, so, we probably could do a full hour just talking on these topics, but I will do the professional transition. I was waiting for a term or something super clever, but let's talk a little golf forever. So, I do take it serious. We had the intro, and some of it, I'm just transparent. Some of it, I even feel cheesy about sometimes when you start, but how else are you going to talk about something, right? I think, like anything else, it's easier to demonstrate. That's why I know you guys have endless cool videos, just with whether it's on social media or via the app. But do articulate probably better than I. What exactly is Golf Forever?
What is golf forever? It is part the Scotty thing, the thing that Scotty Scheffler uses, the green stick, the Scotty stick. It is part that, but most
For the video audience, I have it right here.
yes, but most important, it should be your best friend. And I'm not saying that because I work for the company. I truly can say that as someone that played competitively, who after every single round with their coach, it'd be like, okay, let's go to the range, let's work on your swing. Let's go to the range, let's work on your swing. Now, mind you, I worked with the best instructors in the world. We didn't have what we have today. Technology has changed drastically. Just biomechanics. There's just so many more things that are able to be tracked and helping, with the golf swing. So we didn't have this knowledge. We didn't have this piece of I worked out, get on the elliptical, did some crunches, lifted some dumbbells, but like fitness was not a thing. There were some, gym rats on tour, and I know that they're still out there and they're still the same gym rats that were there, but people weren't doing specific golf exercises 12, 13, 14 years ago. I mean, this is pretty new, I would say, in the sense of how you're kind of seeing it all over. Like you were saying earlier, there are a lot of apps and there's a lot of mobility things and a lot of gizmos and gadgets. So why golf forever? What is GolfForever? So a golf fitness system that is made for you. Just like the golf swing, everyone has their fingerprint. There are no two of the same golf swings. Our bodies are all obviously different too. So everyone has different weaknesses in their bodies that, unfortunately for me, were never really identified. I have hips that turn in, I have terrible knees, and really flat feet. So if you think of that, that's pretty much everything below my waist. That's the foundation of my house. So throw in pressure, throw in tournaments, throw in 8, 9 week stretches of playing week after week. That foundation of the house, unfortunately for me, crumbled, and the nastiest hook that you could ever even fathom would come out of the blue in the middle of my round. Why, the guys that are the studs at the golf courses, and member guests, they're coming down the stretch, and the last 3 holes they go like double, double, triple. That's not because they're not a great golfer. A lot of that is a body breakdown. And then the pressure on top of that, like, let's just throw that on there. So what GolfForever does is it gives you a body that can handle your swing, that can get you to do the things that you want to do with your swing, that your coach is trying to get you to do. I know there's probably a ton of viewers that are on here that have been taking lessons for probably years, and it probably feels like you're doing the same lesson over and over and over again. And you probably don't hit the amount of golf balls that you do need to be hitting to see those swing changes through. But also, I can almost guarantee it, you have a weakness somewhere in your core, your lower back, your limited flexibility wise or mobility wise, or you're off balance, as probably one of the reasons why you're not able to accomplish what you're trying to get with your golf swing, or you're not seeing the results, you're not getting the distance. As I always joke with my dad, he should be hitting the ball about 80 yards further, because he's had the last 4 new drivers that have promised 20 yards each.
Yeah.
And he's
That
not
easy.
hitting it 80 yards further. But that's because, he's going to be 70 this year. He just retired. He thinks he's John Daly in his backswing at like 3 o'clock with his backswing, but he's probably around 10 o'clock. So that's a flexibility and a mobility issue there,
Yeah.
that if he can increase the flexibility and the mobility and a little weakness of the core, and able to hold the positions at the top and then get that mobility in his backswing, he'd be able to generate more lag on his downswing, which that is what gets you more speed. You could have the hottest driver, but if you're not utilizing that tool to what it can do because your swing isn't generating it, you're not going to see the results that you want.
Yeah. So, and I'll try to let you do the big overarching talk, and I'll just do my personal anecdote. So, I had back to back left wrist injuries,
Mhm.
and that was like 20. Let's just call, or that was like 19 and 22. So I say back to back, but relatively speaking, and I've had to change some stuff in my game and all that. And one of the issues on my own personal fitness, it's like kind of gone by the wayside, because it's like I can either golf or I could work out, but then my wrist just gets aggravated. And even though it's healed, it's just one of those things that just kind of you got to protect against now.
Mhm.
One cool thing I immediately identify with doing golf forever is obvious weakness on my left side relative to my right. And I mean, I'm a righty, but even certain, not in every exercise, but certain mobility, I could just tell, oh, I have a real deficiency here. But this has given me not just like a very quick way of addressing it, to the point where like I use KT tape on my left wrist just preventatively now. And it's pretty much good. It's 2 years clear of the injury. And it's occasionally, if I'm playing too much, it'll get a little bit sore and I have to take a couple weeks off. But I can already say, like, the strength that I'm coming, I did PT and all that, but just you lose it if you're not maintaining it. Like you just fall back into habits. So I've already seen a real world practical outside of the fact you're going to be sore the first few times you do it, anyways. Real world stuff, and I mean, and I'm again, I'm like I always say, approaching 40. Don't dox my exact age, but there's I know endless people that are either like you coming up through the professional ranks or high level elite amateur that would get utility. But really for the folks I'm talking to, it's like, guys, if you guys, gals, you're north of 30, these things are coming up. You're trying to go to the Banded Dunes. You want to play 36 a day. Well, guess what? That shit, it's not happening if your
It's
body won't cooperate. And we've ran into
yep,
that now with our inner circles every year. It's like the carousel. Well, who's going to have the thing happen? And
yeah,
it's not like life doesn't happen to anyone, but to me, it's like, and it's easy too. Like you just jump in and you go, oh, you're just doing resistance band. This isn't bad. And
yeah. It's
then
not
you're
hard.
halfway through it and you realize, oh, this is basically like a massive superset. Like we're not stopping and we're going.
Mhm.
And obviously you get out of anything that you put into it, but it's a legitimate, like it just makes sense. Like if you got a brain, you get done with exercise and you're
Yeah.
like, wow, that made a lot of sense for what I need at this point in my life.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of the program and what I love about it. Everything too is doctor design. Safety is number one priority. We're not here to get you hurt, and there's such a misconception out there that oh I don't want to get hurt, so I don't want to work out. And I'm
And
like, nah,
I was in that camp, and because a lot of stuff is pushing you towards unnecessarily high impact, high stress maneuvers. I'm not a biomechanic. My wife is a physical
yeah.
therapist. She would just tell me to rest and put ice on it. But that's another
Yeah,
topic
you
for
don't
another
have to
day.
do crazy. You don't have to do deadlifting and flipping tires
Yeah.
and all of this crazy stuff that you see. And it's actually like the complete opposite. It's those little things that get neglected that end up causing the big things to happen. So if you can just focus on those little muscles in your core and your lower back, um, and keeping those strong. But being doctor designed is obviously something that distinguishes us from a lot of the other things that you'll see out there. And with safety being number one priority. But the fact that you're getting something that's specific to you, we had a rule in our house as I was getting older that we were not allowed to start a sentence with, I was watching Golf Channel. And when they were doing like a ton of like the teaching shows, which are
Oh yeah.
great for like an overview, but like let's be real, the normal like golf nerd, probably the lettuce head out there is gonna like see this tip and be like, oh, that's what's wrong with my
Yeah.
swing and go out and do it.
I
And it's like
fixed it. I'm
it's the
ready.
complete opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. But what I love about our program is you're getting something that is custom to you. So you're getting this workout that is focused on the things that need to get better. So to your point of your left side is weaker than your right side. So I am left-handed. I only eat left-handed, but I do everything else right-handed. Golf, throw, everything. So my right side is significantly bigger than the left side. Just because if you think like, and it's funny because I mean, it's like when I say these things, I'm like, duh, but like I
Yeah.
never really thought about it. But it was like, I played golf from age 7 to 28 competitively and literally like every single day. And I swing the club right handed every single day for upwards of 12 to 13 hours a day. I did nothing for this left side that entire time. So the beauty of what our system does is anything you do on one side, you do the other.
Hmm.
I am not a doctor, but what I've learned is that like you have these muscles in your back and it's like an X. And if you're hurting on your left side, it's typically because of a weakness on your right side. It's always kind of an opposite thing. So it's so important to balance the body out. And that's one of the things that our system identifies is you're not just going to do everything on your one side and keep strengthening that side. It's going to overtake the other side. You've got to balance it. So I love that about the program. Like you said, you get this full body workout. Like it does look really, oh, I just have my little band and I'm telling you, I've seen long drivers, I've seen these big muscly guys do our program, and they're like sweating after 10 or 15 minutes. And obviously they're using the heaviest band at the furthest, but
Yeah.
it's such a challenge. And I call it the eyes. It is such an experiential thing. You have to try it just once and you'll just get it. It's so much easier than me explaining it to you, but I call it the
Mhm.
eyes. And everybody, they just do the simple rotation and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
like I thought I knew what core activation was. I did not know what core activation was until I tried the swing trainer. And then what it taught me immediately, and then how just that one concept alone helped me in my golf swing of like just being aware of the core and activating the core. Because a lot of misconceptions with the golf swing too is that it's your arms. Well, no, it's actually not your arms. Your arms are along for the ride. It's your core firing and
Mm.
leaving the swing essentially. So like when you can understand what like core activation truly feels like, that's just going to help you. I mean, that's just going to help so much with your golf swing.
Yeah, and I'd say too, I want to foot stomp the program. So when you just app, you do it on your phone, tablet, stream it up there, or AirPlay it, or AirDrop it, or whatever to your. Guys, sound like I don't know technology. You get what I'm saying? Stream it up on your
Right on your
TV.
TV.
Yes. But when you're doing these exercises, what's really cool to me is like the first time you do a new one, it's funny because the instructors rotate
Mhm.
episode or instruction to instruction, workout to workout, and you got it'll be the first time, and you'll be like, oh, you might fall a little back. Oh, you're probably you might be slipping a little on your left side here. Put the resistance down a little bit. Oh, is this too easy? It's just a
It's like they're
very
right
yeah,
there.
it's
They're
yeah,
they're
and I
watching
know
you.
and I know it's not obviously the only thing that has a guided program with instructors, but that's where like, man, I just, sometimes the simplest things go a long way. And to me, to stay engaged and to get functionality of a lot of these programs I've seen that aren't golf specific, you see people do them and you look and you go like, well, you're not even doing like 50% of this right. So you might be at high risk of injury because you're doing
Mhm.
something that you shouldn't be, or you're just to get through an exercise. But that's what's so nice on the fly. Like, oh, I am slipping here to my left. So I'm gonna have to move 2 feet to my left, 6 inches, 9 inches to my left to maintain proper form. And to your point, like you hear it going. So like, you're doing the left side, doing the right side. So at one point you might turn your back to your TV or your device and you hear them talking behind you.
Mhm.
And like, it is very, very nice because you're going like, oh, you should be feeling it here. And you're like, that's exactly where I feel it. So it's just it's very easy for to me anybody to pick this up and just start doing it. And isn't that the hardest part of most
It's
fitness
just starting it.
is just starting it. And if you can get through those first 2 or 3 weeks and just get it into your kind of your time schedule, your lifestyle. And I'm also not going to BS. Like, it's not like you are doing CrossFit and you're going to be destroying your body and coming back. And
No.
it's not what this is about.
Mm-mm.
It's quick, it's to the point, and to me, it's pretty much all you need. It's not just from a golf perspective, just from a getting around day to day, you just feel a lot better.
Well, and you're not wasting time doing all of this other stuff that
No,
like it
you just
doesn't, it's not specific. Like I don't need that. That's
yep,
actually a strength of mine. So I don't really need to do that workout. I need to
right,
do this because that's the weakness. The other thing that I love and that you touched on are about our trainers. So we've got some of the best of the best, the access to them. Imagine, I mean, you literally can do workouts with Scotty Scheffler's trainer, the same guy that's sitting there with the best player in the world and has worked
yeah,
with the best players in the world. You could have him guiding you through the pretty much the same workouts that the guys are doing, which I think is pretty cool. And a lot of them, Andrew Dodato, Sheldon Roberts, they are kind of fucked. You're not going to be able to just go pop in and get a workout with them. And you're definitely not going to get it in for, you know, $10 for
yeah. It's
so to pay just, the annual fee is normally not even 1 hour with one of our instructors. So like to have unlimited access to all of them with workouts that are specific for you. I mean, it's kind of, I think, just a no brainer on the app side of things. But Like I said, we've got the best trainers in the world. They've worked with some of the best players in the world, and you know, they are there, and they want to get you better.
Yeah, so, I mean, and that to me, that's evident. I mean, it just, and I hate it too, because I keep going back to the, we're very sensitive to the idea of like, we're just going to be, looking at some of our counterparts and peers, it's a not look, everyone's business model is different, but they're selling everything under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And we were very adamant, like, again, we had to be using it, had to believe in it, whether it was you guys or someone else. And I just keep, and it's because I play with a lot of older guys now. So like my Wednesday men's group, it ranges from 30-year-olds up to 70-year-olds. And now that I'm doing this, I'm just listening to the range and I'm listening to everyone bitch about
All
the
the
exact
hums and
same
the
things.
haws, and this hurts,
And
and this.
yeah, I'm trying, and they're on, they're on vitamin I, the ibuprofen, just to get through life. And it's like, you know what? Maybe we should just, I get it. You guys, you want to play 5 days a week, but perhaps you could just spend, 30 minutes, a couple of days a week doing this. And I know for a fact it would benefit just about anybody touching a golf club. And I keep going, that injury prevention. That's really what's motivating me, because that to me is what is my motivating factor. Obviously I want to feel good and all that, but I just know my brain is still conditioning me to swing as if I was a younger man, and I want to do it.
Mine too.
It's really wanting to do it's, I don't, I don't want to have to govern myself. And and that's the thing. Like, there's no reason to have to do it. You just have to do a little more maintenance as you're going
I mean, I
along.
can't even, yeah. And I'm, like you said, we're the same age. I'm going to be 40 in August. Age is just a number, right? But it's just like every day I wake up and something else kind of hurts. I'm obviously a little slower here or there.
Mhm.
Weirdly enough, I still hit the ball as long as I did when I was on tour, even though I barely play. But
Might be the
it is.
technology.
No,
Might
actually,
be.
I still play with the same clubs that I
Oh,
played on
wow.
tour.
That's
Actually,
even
the
crazier.
driver's new. I do have
Yeah.
the smoke, so I do have the new
Okay.
driver. But it's still, I mean, it's a great driver. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but it's the body. The body
Yeah.
is the thing. It really is. And the thing is, especially this audience too. Like, I know a lot of people look at us and go, "Well, I'm not going to be Scotty Scheffler." Well, none of us are going to be Scotty Scheffler, unfortunately. But if Scotty's doing something as little and easy as this, wouldn't you want to do the things that you can do like Scotty? And I always joke too, unfortunately we're not Scotty, and we can't have Dr. Troy and Randy Smith and the whole team, Teddy and everybody with us on the range 24/7. But you can kind of, with our system, you can still use, you can get the same, driver that Scotty has and the Nike shirt and all of that. And you can also get the same training device that he uses in the gym and work out with his trainer through our app. And it really is simple. Like you said, we're not having you flip tires and do these crazy things. Like, it's so effective, and it still kind of blows my mind how even as little as 15 minutes a day, like, just doing a few
Yeah.
moves on each side, how like impactful that is. And just spending 5 minutes, I have 4 moves that I like love to do before my round that like just get my heart rate up just a little, but like loosen me up. And like, for me, I have like slow hips, like most women, just because our hips are a little further apart, a little slower through impact. And that's why you see like the head dips, because that, like, we're a little weaker in our cores. But just me doing these few moves on both sides and getting things firing properly, I feel so much hotter out of the gates. It's not taking me a while to get like used to, like, okay, I gotta fire, like, get my hips moving through impact. I don't have to hit a ton of balls before
Right.
I get out on the course. um, it's so effective to just get things moving properly. And I was at one of my best friend's daughter's cheer competitions, and here are a bunch of 7-year-olds, and they're all like, all right guys, let's warm up, and they're warming up their bodies doing dynamic movements at 7. And I'm like, why don't golfers do this? Like, you see the
Yeah.
good old head over the club and I touch
Yeah.
my toes and I do one of these guys and like
Crack my back twice. Good to
why
go.
why are golfers all the same and we like just think we can go and swing a club 80, 90, 100 miles an hour and not need to warm our bodies up
And
but
then
like
get
seven
mad when it's
and
not
then get
synced up.
mad
It's
that I spent the first 6 holes warming myself up out of
mhm.
18, but like 7-year-olds for cheerleading are like warming up their bodies properly. So it just, we're also really on this mission at Golf Forever to like redefine what warming up is. And it's not hitting golf balls, it's warming up your body, it's getting your muscles firing properly. That's the other way to prevent injury. If you're just going out there cold too, you're putting some like unnecessary stress on your body, like wake up all of a sudden, and you're not like easing into these movements. Your body is not supposed to swing a golf club. Like it's not a normal thing you should be doing with your body. That just the force and the rotation on your knees and like just we're not supposed to be doing this. So like at least be kind and like warm things up properly and like get everything going. That's how you're gonna not feel terrible the next day. Um, and I know you had said, you're not going to feel like this soreness of like, you're going to feel it like you work
Mhm.
out. You're going to feel muscles that you
When you first start it, you're gonna feel sore, but it's
but
not as
it's not like a sore like I did leg day and I can't
yeah, they
sit
can't walk sore.
down.
You feel
No,
good
it's not.
about yourself sore.
It's like a
That
strength, like I feel stronger, but
yeah,
like I don't know, like I just feel like I walk better, after
yeah,
doing one of these workouts just because of the
I
core
feel you.
activation and you just feel good and you've gotten like a little bit of cardio in and your balance has been challenged. You've worked both sides of your body. You've gotten this full on body workout in like as little as 15, 20 minutes. And it's like you said, it's like, it really is. It's so effective. And I just keep hearing everywhere from my college teams up to the senior men that I sometimes play 9 holes with on occasion. Like just obviously the older demographic typically haven't been doing anything. So like them now incorporating a warm up and a few workouts a week are going to be really effective for them. But like how they're saying like they feel stronger, they've gotten more distance. Like you're going to see a lot of results pretty immediately when you've gone from doing nothing to doing something like this. So like that's what's so exciting about it is as little as like 2 to 3 times a week that first month, you're going to like really see some great gains. I've had instructors reach out to me saying, I've never heard of you guys, but I just had a student that I've been working with for 5 years that we've done the same thing. He didn't tell me that he bought the system, but all of a sudden his swing has been changing dynamic. He's like, I thought he was going to someone else. Like, I didn't know what had happened. He said,
Sneak it
I just
around.
started doing this Golf Forever 2 times a week. And like massive changes in their students' swing distance. It's just been really cool to like hear these stories of people coming in saying like I've been doing the same thing over and over and over again and not seeing results. And now I'm just kind of doing the bare minimum with you all, and I'm seeing a huge. And now I'm more motivated to even do more.
No, so you brought up quite a couple things there, and you said Scotty, and kind of my get off the stage comment I've said to people is, Scotty is the king of fundamentals. The guy's still using a grip trainer.
I
After
love
rounds, he
that.
throws it on his 6 iron and hits 5-10 balls as a reminder. So maybe if he understands how important the basics and fundamentals are, that if he's incorporating this into his own personal fitness regimen, maybe he should just heed the advice that it might not be the worst idea. And by the way, that grip trainer, but most people I see out on the golf course, you probably should have a damn grip trainer
They should have them on
out
all
there.
14.
But Nicole, I do want to say again, thank you for coming from the lettuce heads. We definitely appreciate you spending some time with us, educating us on golf forever. But honestly, more importantly, we like talking to interesting people in golf, and that's shared some anecdotes, and definitely cool listening to your time of becoming a professional golfer and then transitioning through the game and out into the business side. So anything else that you need to tell the lettuce heads about Golf Forever before we depart this afternoon?
Just give it a try, honestly. I mean, let's be real. You guys are probably out there getting ready, chomping at the bits to buying the newest driver and newest clubs that are going to come out next season. Um, Whatever the newest gizmo or gadget is. What's one more? But
Yeah.
especially one more that is truly going to help you. You're going to have something that, let's just say like a putting mat. Well, you can only use that putting mat to putt. You could have a tool that you can use to warm up with, to do your workouts with, but then also to do drills with. So you've got the training aid, you've got the piece of workout equipment, you've got something to stretch with, something to warm up with. So you've got something that really is like multi-use, that checks off a lot of boxes. So it's not like, oh, I'm just going to use this when I putt. Like, you're going to use this for a lot of things. Um, but it's going to help your golf performance. And isn't
And
that
I
what
want to
everybody
add in there,
wants?
yeah, that's what you want. And the cool part about this, it's got a bunch of attachments, not just a green ball stick. It fits right in your golf bag.
What?
Literally,
Yep.
I kind of omitted that. Some of these pre-round warm up stuff, it just goes right in. It's the 15th club.
There is
They
no
might challenge.
excuses not
Yep.
to get this done. I even joke you could be homeless, living out of your car, and you could still get your workouts in. You can attach it to the hatch of the car or on the side door of the car and do it right there in the parking lot. So, like, no excuses. If this was a golf cart arm, you can loop the band around it, or it comes with the door anchor. You can attach it to a bench, a post. So you literally can bust it out in the middle of the
Yep.
round if you're waiting on a par five for the guys that are not going to reach it in two. And
Yeah.
you could
Got
do
to.
some of your moves like
Yeah.
right
Guys.
there just to stay loose in the middle of the round.
And isn't that what it's all about? Playing better, playing longer, playing better, and
Yes.
injury free. So, Nicole, again, thank you so much. We're excited about it. I'm going to be documenting my progress. Won't overdo it for the listeners. We know you got diverse golf interests, so we won't hammer you over the head every second of what are you doing. But we care about you, and this the us and please let us golf's about the golf universe and the golf sicko. So, let us, as we say it every week before we go. Stay plugged. That's the most important thing. And we will see you next week. Peace.